And we're back. Good evening. Hello. And welcome back to Dave and Ryan Review. Um, Hi, Dave. How's it going?
Yeah, really good. Yeah, excited. Looking forward to this one all week.
Yeah, this is, we just had this idea, I think, last week, just to have a bit of fun. So it's a little bit different. We're not going to be talking about one particular film. We're actually going to go through our favorite films, our top 10 films. So we each have our own list. We don't actually know each other's list, so it's going to be interesting for both of us. And yeah, we're just gonna chat through it. So I think should we just
Spoilers.
yeah, Dave said spoiler review. I think that's a given, but we will give a spoiler review. There will be spoilers on every film we talk about right now. Um, so I think we just crack on. I think. Um, so shall I? Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first, Dave?
I'm happy for you to go first.
Yeah. All right. So my number 10 is The Bourne Identity. Um, I as one in my top 10 films. It for me reason is the fighting is great. It was right at the beginning before like the Bonds and stuff. I love the story. I love the way he's sort of piecing together his his backstory. He doesn't really understand what's going on with himself, and I just love the way. Obviously, it was that sort of the way it was shot, the way it looked was great. So yeah, the original Bourne is my number 10.
Nice. I always like the not knowing part in the first one.
Yeah.
Obviously trying to find his identity, and but that's the thing. But yeah, it was really good, really well done, and
Mm.
the pace is quite fast in that film.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, good, very nice.
All right,
Should I
Dave,
go
go
for
for it.
mine?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, mine is Godzilla 19. No, it's not really.
I was about to just use an expletive, so
Nah. Okay, I'll be serious from now. My number 10 is Inception
mm,
with Leonardo DiCaprio. Um, every time I watch this film, it just seems to get better and better. Love the going into the dream world, the element of time, going into deeper stages. I'm not the biggest Christopher Nolan sort of fan, but I really like what he went for in this film, the set pieces, the mystery at the end. Did he make it? Did he not? And yeah, this film I just love this. I love Inception. So that's my number 10.
it's a good choice. I would not have chosen that one for you. I wouldn't have guessed it actually. I don't think we've ever really talked about that film, but no, it's a good film. The way it looks, the way it's shot. You've got the sort of iconic scene where they're fighting down the hallway and it's spinning and they actually span it and yeah, it's really fun. They've got an unbelievable
I wasn't
cast.
sure. I wasn't sure if you even liked it, to be honest. So when I said
I
it, I
had
was like,
a
oh,
I had a I had a strange history with it because just before I was seeing it, I think someone I knew was like, "It's better than The Matrix." Um, and so, as if you listen to our last one, you understand how I feel about that, and that put sort of a sour taste in the mouth before I went in, and I think it sort of coloured how I was watching it, going, "This, yeah."
totally different film. But obviously,
Um,
people's recommendations definitely affect things, don't they?
Yeah, yeah, so I think that's why I probably need to watch it again. But no, good choice. It's a great film. The action's great. It looks amazing. Loads of great stuff. All right, so on to number 9. So my number 9 is Guardians of the Galaxy. Um, I've gone because we've had a lot of great MCU films over the last goodness, it's like 13 years now or something, maybe even a bit longer. And this came out at a time where I was pretty unsure about this film, but again the cast were perfection. The way they all linked together, the music obviously was just amazing. It looked amazing. It really hit on things that meant a lot to me at the time as well. And it's just a fun film. It's one of those films I will be watching. I'll just throw it on. I know I'll show my daughter as well. And it's just yeah, it's just I think it's my favorite probably my favorite MCU film um, out of the bunch.
Mm. I mean, I like it. I don't hate it. I know Jack is probably turning the video off right now. Our friend. Um, yeah, it took me a few watches, and it does get better with more viewing. I think with Guardians, it's one of those things where I've spoke to so many people who just absolutely love it, and it took me a while to see why. And I think it wasn't for me until like Infinity War that I really got the family aspect, and that's what it is, isn't it? It's sort of random people becoming a family,
Mm,
um, and that I didn't quite get what get that first time around, but yeah, obviously love all those characters. And yeah, I'll definitely be watching that one again.
nice.
Okay, so my number nine. When I say this, I think one of the reasons for um, my list is going back and watching again. And my number my number nine is Home Alone.
Mm,
Me and my wife love this film. Me and you and Jack love this film. Every Christmas you end up watching it from the very beginning all the way to the end. And the second one, but love Home Alone. So much fun. Takes you out of whatever you're doing. The traps at the end with the guys is just hilarious. The spider on the face is always gets me cracking up. Just a really fun film from John Hughes. And yeah, I'll be watching it every year until I'm gone, basically.
I mean, a classic film, absolutely classic. Same as you said as well. I watch it every year with my wife. I've probably watched every year since it came out. Probably. It's a great film. Macaulay Culkin's amazing. He's still so charming. All these years later. Obviously
Mm.
now he's he's like 40 or something, which is crazy. Um, but yeah, he's amazing in that film. Yeah, great film, great soundtrack as well. And yeah, no, absolutely a great shout. All right, so my number eight is Leon. Now, I don't know if you've seen this film, Dave. I don't think we've ever.
You,
If you
you
have, we've
showed
never
it to me.
spoken about it.
You showed
Um,
it to me once.
yeah. I love this film. I just love. Part of me just loves the action. I love Gary Oldman in the film. It's an odd film. It's quite a small film in terms of, there's not, we're not going all over the place in the film, but I love the action. I love the character of Leon. I love Gary Oldman just like losing his mind at the end, like send everyone. He screams at the thing, and yeah, I enjoy watching this film. Um, it was one I think I just picked up randomly, and I was like, wow, I really enjoyed that. So yeah, Leon at number eight.
So Jean Reno, is it?
Yeah, yeah, that's the one.
I mean, I don't think you can beat him in Godzilla. Trying to get that cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Um, but no, I remember you showing me this, and there's a scene with the elevator. I think
Mm,
where he hides in that. I remember that's sort of my only memory of it, to be honest. But I do remember having a good time watching it.
yeah. Nice.
Um, okay, so that was your eight, yeah.
Yep.
So my number eight, and you've heard lots of this on this channel already, is Back to the Future. You could involve the whole trilogy if you want to, but I've just put Back to the Future. Yeah, we spoke at length. Check that review out. We speak in length about the trilogy. Um, what can I say? Great film, good music, Marty, Doc, time travel. What's not to like? Yeah, love it. That's my number eight.
Great shout. Great movie again. I'll be watching that till I'm, you know, false teeth and in a rocking chair and everything. It's just a brilliant film. And yeah, very, very memorable. No, good choice.
Until you're in 2015, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. All right, so number seven, For me is Return of the Jedi. Now we did a review quite recently on this film. I think I said at the time it was my favorite of the original trilogy, even though, like Dave just said, you could just say the original Star Wars trilogy here. But I do really love Return of the Jedi. I love Luke in this film. I love the battle at the end, the rescue of Han Solo at the beginning, um, and obviously the Emperor at the end of this film. Um, and just the whole and the way it ends as well with the music, and yeah, I just thought it was a great way to end the trilogy, um, to end Star Wars, because there was no more stories after that point.
Mm, yeah, like we said, we spoke about it. I just might as well bring up Yeehaw with love that bit with
Yeah,
Lando.
absolutely.
Cool. So my number seven is, and I had a bit of trouble with this one because I've spoken to people recently about this film who go, "Nah, this film's no good," and I almost took it off my list because of other people's thoughts. And I thought, you know what, I totally disagree. I love this film, and it's Jaws.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I love Jaws. I love, I hope we do a review on it in depth, but this simple idea of this predator that's out there and this town, or that have got their summer coming up, and they need to have the beaches open because that's how they make their money, and the mayor is under pressure, and then they've got to obviously go out and try and kill the shark eventually. Like the whole film, we've watched it, and it's what put Spielberg on the map. Love Jaws, such a good film, even today. Yeah,
uh, it is a really good film. I still enjoy it. I haven't watched it recently, but every time I've watched it, I've always had a good time with it. There's some you know iconic lines. The music is excellent, and some great just some great characters in that film. So yeah, great pick.
thank you.
All right, so here is number six, which for me is Good Will Hunting.
Oh,
Um, I absolutely love this film. Um, I I remember watching it randomly because it was like Robin Williams is doing did a serious film. Like I didn't know about this film, and it was it was way up, maybe 5 to 10 years after it had come out. I was like, he did a serious film? Like what? That's weird. And watching it, it just blew me away. Everything about it. He is just excellent. But obviously Matt Damon is just amazing as well as Will. And it just has the right balance of, there's some funny moments in it. There's some really sad, like really tear jerking moments in it. And just like, how do you like them apples? Some like very iconic lines in that film. And yeah, love the characters in this film. Love this film. Love the atmosphere of the film. Love the way it sort of, it makes you feel a lot of different things during it. So yeah, Good Will Hunting.
yeah, really good pick that one. Do you know, I've only recently watched it for the first time. When I say recently, it was about 7, 8 years ago. For a friend went, "You ever seen this?" And we put it on, and I was blown away. And the scene that I love is after he sort of got in Robin Williams' mind, and he goes sits with him at the lake, and he says, "You were just a kid. You've not lived, basically. You've seen that. You could quote all these things from books, but you've never been there. You've never been in a war. You've never
Mm,
smelt the paint in the Sistine Chapel, and you've never been in love, and that was an amazing scene. And it's like, the ball was in your court, sport, and just walks off, and it's like, oh, mic drop, basically, isn't it? So,
yeah,
so good,
yeah, brilliant.
great film. Okay, so my number six is Forrest Gump.
Mm,
Forrest Gump. I don't know exactly, but I was pretty young, and yeah, just loved every scene, loved the characters. Obviously it's funny with running, and it's quite a humorous film at times, but it's actually really sad as he goes through history. Well, these events that he he's seems to always be a part of. Um, but yeah, it's obviously won loads of awards. There was loads of really good films that came out that year that would have got Oscars that didn't because this film was just out at the same time. Um, love Tom Hanks, one of my favorite, if not favorite actors. Yeah, Forrest Gump, Run Forrest Run.
Brilliant film. So many moments you could think of. Like sometimes I'm like, oh, it's like a war film because there's like this whole war bit in the mid, and he's
Mm.
saving all his mates, and he gets, Bubba die, I think. I think he does in
Yeah,
the
yeah, he used to
war, and
carry him, doesn't he?
it's awful and it's so sad. And Lieutenant Dan, like just all the stuff that happens in that in that moment. You're like, oh, it's just that, and it's like, no, there's like a whole another film that happens like after that, like when he meets Jenny again, and she's all wrecked, and he's sort of looking after her and stuff. And yeah, amazing. What a great film. Yeah, unbelievable. Um, Number five for me is The Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. This is a film a bit like Good Will Hunting. It's a more serious film from a comedic legend in Jim Carrey, um, and I just love it's very stylish. The music is great. Again, it sort of makes you feel a lot of different things. Obviously, it's about like loss, and you want to just remove your memories of that heartbreaking time, and it's just such an interesting film. It sort of looks amazing, and they do a lot of interesting and fun stuff with the way they shoot it, and just great characters as well. And just love that film so much. I think I first saw it like I rented it off, online from like Sofa Cinema or something, just randomly, and I was like, wow, what a film. So yeah, love that film, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Never seen it.
You've never seen it?
No.
I would suggest watching it.
Okay, I will. I will watch it. Um, my number five is Avengers, Infinity War, and Endgame mixed together. Um, we've spoken about both films individually. Please, yeah, check those reviews out as well. But yeah, I mean, let's start with Infinity War. Great film, such a fast pace. Everyone is really fighting Thanos and losing and dying, and it's like it's just yeah. I mean, how can I explain what a great film is in a few seconds? I can't. And then to wait a year to go and watch Endgame, I've never in my life experienced a cinema like it. It was like being at a football game, when the Avengers came back. Just so many good memories, happy, sad, emotional. Avengers, love Avengers, will always love Avengers.
No, I mean, I Infinity War just just incredible. An incredible film. The fact they managed to stuff all of those characters in there and it didn't feel rushed, or it didn't feel bloated, and it was just, had one of the best hero entrances, probably the best hero entrance in any film ever, in Thor coming down to Wakanda. I think everyone watches that and just everyone had the same reaction to that moment. It was just
Mm,
an incredible moment. And then the way it ends really just sad, and you're like, hang on a sec, what? And
mm,
and like you said, that anticipation for the year, for Endgame, and I think they did a decent job. With Endgame, I think over time, I think I've cooled off on Endgame a little bit, just because you can really like I think we've said before, you can start picking at this stuff. But I still loved that film, and I'll still watch it as part of the Infinity Saga, as they call it. But yeah, great chapters in great end chapters in that whole phase of Marvel Cinematic Universe.
mm, absolutely.
Um, okay, so we're getting into quite high up the list now. So we may have heard this one before. Back to the Future. So
Woohoo.
as my number four, Back to the Future. As Dave said, we did a review on the trilogy. You could say it's the trilogy, but I love this. I think it's close to being one of the a perfect film, and what I mean by that is, casting, music, special effects, the story, just the balance of humor and drama, and you've got all these moments. Like I always go back to the moment George punches Biff as just one of a great cinema moment where he finally hits Biff in the face. It's just brilliant. So yeah, that's it for me.
Mhm. Yeah, I've already spoken on it, so I'll probably, yeah, I just agree. Apart from I don't put it there on my list, but it could be that someone's number one, and I wouldn't complain. Um, so my number four um, is Rocky. Um, I don't know if I'm when I say Rocky, I am thinking about the first Rocky because as much as I love two, I love three, I love four, five. Um, I remember
What about
watching number
Balboa?
one. Bobo was okay, but I mean, the first Rocky, I remember watching it. I was up quite late. My mum was working at the table doing something. I don't know if she was making something or something. And I was watching it and I was so invested. It was like a fight night for me. Obviously, for those of you that don't know, I was a boxer and a professional boxer, massively inspired by this film. Um, but the story of Rocky being this thug that gets an opportunity and takes it with both hands is just so inspiring. It will always be inspiring. How many people have got up and gone to the gym or gone running or hit a boxing bag because of this film? So many people, millions of people, love Rocky, and how inspiring it is.
I couldn't agree more. It's a brilliant film. Consider you think about just even the circumstance of the film. I think Sylvester Stallone wrote the film. Like it's crazy that, and it's still to this day. We're probably going to get a Creed 3. We're
Mm,
probably, and it's still going, and it's still popular, and people still love this character. I love the Rocky Balboa character. He's one of my favorite cinema characters, absolutely.
mm.
Um, and I would,
Top three.
huh?
Oh, sorry, I just said top three, but
Yeah,
you
so
were still
yeah,
talking.
no, absolutely no. So yeah, there's Rocky. Yeah, top three. So I will say my top three changes depending on when I last watched any one of these three films or the series of films. So this changes quite regularly, but this is where it's at the moment. So I'll say number three is The Matrix. We just did a review on that, and if you've heard it, you've heard my enthusiasm for this film. I explained why I love this film. I do think it's not only one of my favorite films. I think it's one of the best films ever made. Um, and I could just watch it over and over and over again. So, if you're interested in know more deeper thoughts on it, then yeah, we had a whole review on it last week.
Yeah, really good film. Sadly, not in my top 10, but would be deserved in any spot. But yeah, there's a really good lengthy review that we've done, and yeah, lots of enthusiasm and passion. Um, Good choice. My number three is Empire Strikes Back, Star Wars. Um, yeah, like I said, Return of the Jedi was my favorite as a kid, but over time, this is now my favorite Star Wars film. Well, one of my favorite films. Just love I don't know. I love films that don't always let the hero win. I think it's more realistic. The heroes being sort of beaten down and not winning. It's okay to have that. Obviously, this is there's a third act. So yeah, love this film.
I
Love that.
mean, but like you said, we did a review on it, but brilliant film. Like I said, you could have any. I feel like you could have any one of those three. In the top 10, to be honest, or grouped together. Um, yeah, brilliant film. Needn't say
Mm.
more. We had a as Dave said, we had a lengthy review previously, so feel free to get some more uh, information from there. Okay, so top two. Um, this is difficult, but again, my top three changed depending on when I last see it. So I'm gonna say number two is the Lord of the Rings. Um,
I thought that was going to be your number one.
so Lord of the Rings, and this is all of them, all three. Because I can't. They're all brilliant. All three of the chapters, the Fellowship, Two Towers, and Return of the King. They're all brilliant. Then these days I watch them as basically one film. I am in love with this film again. I would say everything is firing on all cylinders in this set of films. Um, it's just brilliant from start to finish. Um, I'm just working my way through the actual books as well and see how they match up. But from what I hear, they do a really really bang up job of adapting the story. I've seen the original theatrical cut multiple times. I've seen the extended edition, which is better than the theatrical cut, multiple times. I own it on DVD and Blu-ray and on 4K Blu-ray. I probably would have had it on tape if I'd had a chance at the time. I adore these films. I think they're the best um, sort of fantasy action, you know big spectacle films going. Like I don't think any of the Marvel films or any other type that kind of big blockbuster entertainment films get close to this trilogy of films. So yeah, Lord of the Rings.
I have never seen Lord of the Rings,
Boo,
and I was
boo,
I was told when the first one came out that it wasn't very good, so that was my reason for not going.
boo earns.
And Ryan always says, "Who told you that?"
Yeah, we need to speak to this person. Um, it
It
was
might be my mum. Might be my mum and my
well, we need
sister.
to
You know,
speak to her, but because that is just outrageous. I think,
I
yeah,
need to give it a watch. I
you
need to
need to,
watch it.
you absolutely. There is
There's
no
probably people you're
this.
thinking this guy's an idiot,
Yeah,
but
no,
yeah,
this you
I
have,
will.
Dave.
I
You
will
have to
watch it.
watch them. There's
I,
no
I've,
if buts or maybes. It's you have
I've,
to.
I've, I've looked on my Sky movies and they're on there, so I will
Make sure they're
make
extended.
time.
Don't watch the theatrical cuts because trust me, the extendeds are better.
Okay, right. So my number two is A Few Good Men.
Oh,
Always been my number two. That's I love A Few Good Men. Tom Cruise has got to defend two Marines who have effectively assaulted another Marine and killed him. But they claim that it was part of a code red that they were given, and they were just doing their job. And so you get a wonderful courtroom drama. You've got Demi Moore, you've got Jack Nicholson, Cuba Gooding Jr. So many amazing actors in this film. They don't throw in a love story. It's just, these guys are on trial for their lives. These Marines are very dedicated to what they do, and they just want to serve their country, and they believe they've done the right thing. And it's the moral dilemma of, are they right? Are they wrong? Can we get the general to crack? You probably know the famous line, "You can't handle the truth." Um, love A Few Good Men. Every scene in it is brilliant.
and just like you, Dave, I've never seen this film.
Oh my.
I've never seen A Few Good Men.
I
Um,
think you'll be so surprised at how good this film is. Honestly,
I will watch it. I will
it's
100%
not
watch
even
it.
that. It's not even that long. It's like an hour and a half.
Yeah, no, I know. It's one of those ones. It's like obviously I was too young to watch it when it first came out, and just never watched it, never saw it. But no, I will absolutely watch it.
Okay, okay, you're number one.
I have a feeling we might have the same number one, David.
Oh, really?
I have a feeling, and if it's not, I'll be very surprised. Um,
Okay.
so my number one is Shawshank Redemption.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's my number one. Also,
Um, as I said, I think maybe we could talk a bit more in length about this film. I mean, I mean, I remember seeing this film for the first time, and I think I remember being put off by how long it was. I think this was one of the first like longish films I'd ever seen as as a younger person. That was used to watching Batman and Robin or something. Like I was watching these other films that weren't particularly long or weren't particularly involved or anything like that. And this film just has everything. It has everything. Um, you know, acting again, the music just sort of makes this film is so good. Um, the story that's told over all of these decades, and it's sad. It's sort of there's horrific elements that happen in it. There's funny moments. There's nice moments. There's really heartbreaking moments. Um, and the way it's told, and Andy Dufresne when he first comes in, he's like this little bird that's just he hasn't done the thing that they're accusing him of, and he's adamant that this is the case, and they just don't believe him, and just him being beaten down at the beginning, and then his rise to the end, and he meets his friend, and Red, and Morgan Freeman is incredible in this film, just absolutely incredible, and then the villains in this film, the guy, the prison warden, um, the main guard, who's pretty awful, and the guy that with his little gang that are sexually abusing Andy Frank. I can't remember the guy's name in the film.
The sisters.
Horrible guys, you hate. You hate these guys. They do such a good job of making you absolutely despise these guys, and so you're even more when he overcomes them, or something bad. They get their comeuppance. It's even better, and then the ending is just perfect. It's Red walking down the beach, and he sees Andy doing working on his boat, and they just sort of embrace, and that's it. Is they what to know, or whatever, wherever they end up, and it's just brilliant. It's just the whole film is brilliant from start to finish.
So I had no idea that was your number one. This is, of course, this is my number one. Um, I've written down some notes. I didn't know what you were going to say, so I thought I'd let you talk,
Mm,
and then I thought I'll just read my notes out. So I've put, why is this my number one? This is the best ending to a film.
mm.
This is not what you think. For those that hasn't seen The Shawshank Redemption, I would advise turn off now, or a few minutes ago before Ryan started speaking, for the spoilers. But yeah, this has got the best ending to a film. Effectively two endings. The film characters are so real, and they all have their own story. You got the head guard, to the warden, to the Red and Andy Dufresne, and then even side characters like Brooks,
Mm.
and the disgusting gang called the Sisters, who just want to assault Andy, our main character, all the time. Um, so the story is, you know, set in prison the whole time, pretty much. Um, and they talk a lot about being institutionalized, and you kind of don't really get what it means, but they sort of explain that you live in this prison, and then you start depending on the walls, and Brooks, the old man, eventually gets released from prison, and the outside world is the prison to him, to where he can't handle it, and that is a truly haunting thing to think about that real men go through. Um,
Yeah, that bit is amazing because you love Brooks at that point. You love
mm,
this old man, and then you just see his feet swinging, and you're like, oh my goodness,
yeah, and
horrible.
they weren't going to have him in the film, and or
Wow.
like or that they I think today they would take a character like that out, but it's so important to show the danger that everybody's in, like mentally.
Mm.
Um, Spoilers. Our main character, after being beaten, lied to, put in solitary for 2 months, just knocked down, is so patient and smart, and uses this to finally escape the prison with a huge twist. You you think that he's going to hang himself, and you know they really make you believe that. You don't know what his plan is, and when he breaks out and he climbs through 500 yards of smelling whatever, and he stands in that rain, he puts his arm out, and the music's going. I don't think you get a better high in a movie, really.
It really is. You climbed through the sewage with him. Like you've
Mm.
gone on that journey with him. They do such a good job of they don't give you your win till late. Really they wait till they give you that satisfaction near the end, and it's just
Mhm.
so good. And like you said, he's standing in that rain, and I've recreated that scene many a time. Um, and it's Oh yeah, Dave, you've hit the nail on the head there. Just brilliant. And even you may be about to say this, so sorry if you are. The bit where Red, we see him trying to get out on parole. We're seeing him trying to get out of prison over and
Mm.
over again, and he's been, I've done really good, and he's really upstanding, he's really nice, and they always just decline, decline. And then the final time, he's like, frankly, I don't give a shit. Like I don't care anymore. Like you're
Mm.
not gonna do. He's just sort of not given up, but sort of just says this process is nonsense. I'm not even gonna play the game anymore. And then they let him out. It's brilliant, just brilliant. It's so good.
I was looking into the reason he doesn't care is because he says, some birds are not meant to be caged.
Mm,
And so when Andy is out, he's happy. He doesn't, his best
mm,
friend's okay. And doesn't matter what happens to him. He'll live in the prison. He really doesn't care. And like I said, the best ending, I wasn't talking about the twist. I'm talking about the moment Red is looking for him. He sees him on that beach, like you,
yeah.
you said, and it just as they're walking towards each other and hug, it's a really panned out thing, and it just goes to the ocean. I've got goosebumps talking about it right now. Honestly, the way it pans out to the blue ocean and the credits roll in, what a perfect way to end a film that has just been a horrible, nasty place.
Mm.
It's so nice to see, and of course, this is our number one. Um, yeah, the Shawshank
That's
Redemption.
hilarious that we had the same number one.
Mm.
Um, yeah, what a film. I can't speak highly enough of. And so I think, yeah, can't speak highly enough of that. So I think that's it for our top 10. One last thing, we um we wrote down our guesses of what the other person's top 10 was beforehand and see how many we got. I got 5.
I didn't write it. I just thought Lord of the Rings was going to be your number one.
Fair enough, fair point. Yeah, I got Shawshank, Star Wars, Back to the Future, Infinity War, and Rocky. I thought you might have snuck Green Mile in there. I seem to remember you really enjoying that film. Um,
We could do honourable mentions all day long, couldn't
yeah,
we?
we could be here
I
for
had
the next 10 hours talking
my
about.
number 11 is Toy Story.
I did think you might put that in there. It's in my honorable mentions, that film. Um, I've got, I mean, yeah, my honorable mentions are ridiculous. There's so many, like stuff like Rocky, Truman Show, um,
Yeah,
stuff like that are in my honorable mentions. So yeah, maybe we just, yeah,
this
maybe we
this
do
is
maybe
just
we do
our
a further another 10 of our
this is
favorite
this
films.
is just our personal list.
Yeah.
Everybody, it's a completely subjective thing, isn't it? And
I would say everything's subjective except for Lord of the Rings and Shawshank Redemption and The Matrix. Otherwise, yes, it's completely subjective.
but
Outside of those
people could.
three, choose whatever
I
you
bet
want.
you. The thing is, though, you got people out there that going, "What? You didn't even have The Godfather in the top
Yeah,
10."
I've
So
watched that film. I think I need to watch it again because I watched it when I was tired and I just was like, this film is dragging long. Um,
it's hard to watch a film that everybody loves and then try and love it as well, isn't it? Because
or try and see what it is like. What is it? So I need to watch that properly again. But like you said, yeah, lots of people, Godfather 1 and 2, basically say their favorite movies. So
and how much do me and you love Superman? That wasn't even in our top 10.
yeah, it's not even in my honorable mentions really. Maybe
Mm,
it should be. But um,
yeah.
but
Okay,
yeah,
man, that was good, though. I enjoyed that.
yeah, it was fun. So yeah, we'll be back again. I'm not sure what we'll be doing next time, but maybe something a bit different like this, or back to our usual stuff. But that was
I
extra
think
fun,
you
and
you
thanks
were
for listening.
toying with a scary movie with a friend
Oh
to
yeah,
rent.
what do you want to do that one next week?
if we're all available, let's why not?
Yeah, all right, that sounds good to me. So, if you tune in next week, it'll be Scary Movie, which is a very fun film. So, listen into that. So, thanks for listening, and we'll see you again.
All right, guys.